Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We close out this March 17th edition of our show. We roll into our 17th year on the air here in Memphis, Tennessee. And again, we really glad about a month ago really picked up some more audience through our good friends at Brownsville Radio, 1520 AM and 95.3 FM in Brownsville. And, of course, News Talk 101.5 out of Jackson, Tennessee, where you can get this show 24/7. It's just amazing. It's opened up so many doors. And appreciate Guy Trebo, LR Outdoors webmaster, extraordinary, who is getting ready for the weekend from a certain area that he has to edit all of Ron Wong's pictures from the Bassmaster Classic, and they will come in, and most of them will have Ron eating food. No, I don't know. Well, anyway. And Frank Barton is here from the Barton Power Sports. And you guys, we've talked a lot of fishing. Well, we're going to shift gears here a little bit. And Frank is definitely a man of the land. Farming has been part of your family. You have grown up, even though you did go to Bell Buckle over where it was Webb and those places like that. And you have land in East Arkansas. We're privileged. My late hunting mentor, Willard Tigner, always told me you can't go wrong with land. And I know you, with your farming operation, and you're not saying anything, but I believe that's true, right? I mean,
you're doing just fine.
Yeah, well, it is. And so we got on the line right now a man that he came up with this idea. I'm sure Toxie kind of added this from our Mossy Oak friends. And I'm thinking maybe late 90s or early 2000s. They said, why don't we just go into the property business? Now, anything Mossy Oak does is pretty cool, including, hey, I've got to say right here, if you haven't seen the video of Mr. Fox himself, I don't know how old he is now, turkey hunting, those Mossy Oak videos, I just went off the tangent on that because it was just such a thing. This guy and Toxic came up with the idea, let's do some land stuff, and so thus was developed Mossy Oak Properties. And we've got the man himself, Chris Hawley, CEO and president of Mossy Oak Properties, on the line with us. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Larry. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, I've been wanting to get you on to talk about this because really you got to pinch yourself, don't you? I mean, living down there in Livingston, Alabama, when you guys came up with this idea, where did you ever in your wildest dreams think it would become what it's become? I know you hope so.
Yeah, Larry, there's no way you could imagine that this would grow as much as it did. And I mean, it's a testament when you have a great product and you have great folks around you, good things are going to happen. And, when we started in 99, we started with one office here in Livingston, and we actually ran some advertisements. And I've got one in my office I'm looking at right now. It says, looking for hunting land for sale. And it was actually a buck rub with a yellow sticker on it. It said, looking for land for sale.
Yeah.
Check every bulletin board at every general station between Mobile and Memphis, or call Chris Hawley at 1-800-896-8115.
Oh my gosh! You were it, huh? I mean, you were the answer phone guy. You weren't getting in the.
We answered the phone, took out the mail, the trash, everything. So anyway, but it is amazing to see it grow, and we've got right at 100 offices. Really got 5 or 10 offices that are probably opening up in the next few weeks. And
new offices you're talking about. I mean, so the expansion and over, got 27 states, something like that?
We are fixing to open up our first offices in Nebraska within the next 2 weeks, and also in Michigan probably within the next 2 or 3 months. And so every time we open an office, that's a big deal for us, but especially when it's into a new state.
New state, yeah.
Got great folks out there.
Well, what do you think, Chris, and What was the vision of you guys? And I know Toxie is a very visionary person, and I think I was one of the first to ever write about Mossy Oak. I tell that, and I'd gone down there and visit with Sug and Cuz and all the rest of the guys down there, and know what it's like. You go into Mossy Oak headquarters, it'll blow you away. This is not the Tower of Pisa. This is not anything, the Taj Mahal, anything like that. So I don't envision Chris Hawley's office as being 250,000 square feet. You guys are down to earth, and I think that's one of your specialties, isn't it? That you are what you are.
Yeah, and we're not going to change for anybody, Larry. I mean, we are who we are, and I think that's what's made it. Toxie has really created a culture around that. He said, look, if we can't be ourselves, we don't need to be doing what we're doing.
That's right.
And we live by that every day. So we got a really cool culture, but I think consumers relate to that because we're just like everybody else. And so anyway, I think that had a lot to do with it. Everybody, it all starts with the resource and the land, and I think that there's nothing, and Toxie says this better than anybody, it all starts with the resource, and without the land and the lakes, there's no critters and there is no camouflage, and so we're really the foundation for everything that we do.
And how do you, over 300,000 acres, that's amazing right there. I can toss this in because this is straight from the Mossy Oak website, and this blows me away. I'm sure it does you, that you guys close in excess of $500 million in volume annually.
Yeah.
Which, so how do you talk about the selection? How does somebody, in the old days, I'm sure you were begging for people to put their land up for you. Now you got people begging you to put their land up for you. So how do you make that stamp that says, we're going to put that Mossy Oak name on it?
Yeah, of course, all of our offices are franchise offices out there, and we just give them a whole set of tools that if they were independent real estate brokers, they couldn't represent their clients like they do without the brand and the different services right there. And
yes.
So it's just, when you look at our website and the numbers right there, and I mean, you look at 317 million hits, that just shows you the number of folks that go to that website every day.
Did you hear that?
It's just such a huge, powerful tool, but it all goes back to the tree and what Toxie created with the Mossy Oak brand right there, and how consumers relate to it. And all of our brokers and agents out there, they're just like everybody else, but all of them have a really big, deep background back to the land, and I think that's what separates us from a lot of other companies. Well,
I mean, when Toxie took that bag of dirt to wherever he took it and said, I want me a camo like this, when it first started, I can remember those days, and then to think Guy Trebo is my webmaster over there, lroutdoors.com. Did you hear what he said, how many hits annual they get?
Yes, I did.
Does that not?
We're not getting that many on.
Oh, we're not? Okay, I was just making sure, that we were real close right up there with Chris and his group here. I didn't want to break in anything there, but that's...
we need a link really, really bad on his site.
Yeah, well, we need a long link, all the way to Livingston, Alabama, but... So people are checking you guys. I mean, the property out there, and to have the stamp on it. And we were talking off the air, and I'll relate this if Chris doesn't mind. But I was squirrel hunting up in no man's land in North Arkansas a year or so ago, and we driving down this road that I wasn't sure where I was, and I looked up, and there's a Mossy Oak property sign, and I said, "Good night, there's not even a water fountain around here any place, but we got a Mossy Oak sign." And you kind of related, tell that story that you were talking about, Chris.
Yeah, one night I was traveling, and, of course, I was all alone and pretty lonely on a dark road in the middle of nowhere, and I rounded a corner, and there was a big Mossy Oak property sign, and I said, I'm almost home, So,
yes,
anyway, being 4 or 5 hours away from home and seeing that sign, it gave me a good feeling. But it is pretty cool. I made the comment when we first started. I said, one day our grandkids are going to see signs scattered all across this country, and you know what? It came a lot sooner than later, and that it's just a testament to the brand, but also all the great folks that we have out there.
Well, and we're going to let you go here. Appreciate talking to Chris Hawley again of Livingston, Alabama. He is the CEO and president of Mossy Oak Properties. It is a testament that there's not a lot of turnover in the Mossy Oak folks. I mean, if you look around, you guys have been together for a long time. The brand has been together for a long time. So if we let you go, what's the vision now? We're in 2017. What do you see down the road for this? Every state? I mean, are you?
Yeah, but and we made, we've actually had some inquiries about some Canada and Mexico, but we really want to develop this network across the country because that's what our vision was, and we're getting a pretty good footprint across the country, and we're going to continue to grow that over the next few years, and we just don't think we just don't see anything slowing down.
Well,
so it's crazy when you look at the graphs and how over the last 17 years and just the growth that we've had, and we just don't see any reason to slow down right now.
Well, don't do it, buddy. We appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Always glad to talk to you and all the good folks at Mossy Oak. Stay safe and keep them signs coming, okay?
All right. Thank you, Larry.
All right,
Thank you
buddy.
for having me.
All right. Thank you. Chris Hawley. And we got to close out the show today. And, of course, you think about that, Mossy Oak Properties. You've really got to go beyond your vision. They could have sat there and said, we're a great camo company. But, utilize that brand. Brownie does that. We got to say that. I mean, the logos and things along that line. So you look for options, but I never thought of this as being an option until you think about land and Mossy Oak go together.
Takes a vision.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Takes a vision.
I mean, it's no different from Indian, the motorcycle. They had some lean years and things along that line, but the vision is still there for you guys. And so tell our listeners again what's going on today.
We're having an open house at Indiana Memphis at 5715 Mount Moriah. It begins at 8 a.m. and it ends at 5.
And
we'll have food. We'll have doing test rides on bikes. Got a whole section of the store laid out just for bargains on apparel that we closeouts on apparel. So
who's cooking?
It's a good day, and when I leave here, I'm going to start cooking.
Frank,
I think that's what I'm qualified to do.
Something is cooking. No. And Guy, we're gonna try to keep up with the classic as much as we can, right?
Yes, sir.
Go
all weekend long. We'll be
all weekend long. That Guy will be updating LROutdoors.com, and we'll again announce the contest winner in 2 weeks. Because next week we're going to talk nothing but. That's a god. I like that. I know it. Did it sound bad?
We need Steve Turpin.
Yeah, we'll have him next week. We're going to talk turkey hunting on this next week's show. One of my favorite of the year. Greg will bring his earmuffs and plugs and everything like that. Charles Petrie will be here. Ray Glass, Steve Reynolds. My good friend Steve Reynolds is coming in this year, and of course Steve Turpin will be here. John Gordon and Bill Cooksey in studio, and we're going to talk to turkey hunters all over the United States about their love of the sport. So I can't wait for that. Anything else anybody wants to say before we leave? Greg is shaking his head. Guy is waking up.
It doesn't cost whatever.
I'm coming to that. Okay. You want to do that? And remember,
I'll never get it right.
And remember what? It doesn't
cost an
extra cent to be a good sport. And God bless the USA.